Hi everyone, it's Fiachra Lennon here, your manager of junior development and tennis professional at Jericho Tennis Club. It's generally accepted that the serve is one of the two most important shots in the game, the second being the return of serve. And why is that? Well, the serve starts off the point, and secondly, it's the only shot that's not dependent on how your opponent delivers the ball to you. So having confidence in your serve can really set you apart. Now, having a good serve takes a lot of repetitive practice, but the rewards are really well worth it. And remember, you don't necessarily need a partner to practice your serve. The correct service grip is a continental grip or hammer grip. To find that grip, just hold your racket with your non-dominant hand like so. Then take the bridge or the V between the index finger and the thumb and just slide it down the beam of your racket all the way to the base of your grip, and you've found your hammer grip or your continental grip. Imagine that you're hammering a nail into a piece of wood. These simple exercises will help you maintain a continental or hammer grip, taking the ball, tapping it down off the edge of your racket, taking the ball again, just tapping up off the edge of the racket. So some of you may use the forehand Eastern or even a semi-Western grip when you're hitting your serve. This will restrict your ability to develop your serve, so I would recommend trying to move over towards the continental grip, even inching over by a millimeter or two every time, and half the battle is just getting comfortable with the continental grip, but it'll be well worth it. To initiate the backswing, some players will let the racket head drop, while others will lift the racket up like so. Either works, and it's really just a personal choice, but the most important thing is that the palm of the hand is facing downwards throughout the backswing. So downwards with the palm of the hand, strings are facing down, okay, and avoiding this waiter position, like you're carrying a tray of drinks, palm is facing upwards, and that's influenced by the grip which we spoke about earlier, so making sure you've got the continental grip. So again, taking the racket back, ensuring that the palm is facing downwards, string facing downwards, get into this nice position. So as we mentioned earlier, we want to avoid going into the waiter position on the serve. So a good exercise to help with that is take a ball and just place it on the strings of your racket like so. Now take the racket into your backswing like this and just let the ball roll off your strings in this position. So really trying to get a feel for that ball just rolling off the strings. What you want to avoid doing when you do this is when you take the racket up, that the ball shoots off your racket and goes up and the strings stay open like so. For me, a consistent ball toss is the essential ingredient to the great serve. Ensure prior to releasing the ball that you hold the ball in the pads of the fingers as opposed to deep in the palm or too close to the end of the fingertips. So just in here, nice and lightly. A good exercise to ensure that you're holding the ball correctly is to take two balls into your tossing hand and work on your ball toss like so. Here you'll see that you're holding the ball more in the pads of your fingers. Make sure that the tossing arm drops so that the hand is just in front of the left thigh so that you can gain a little momentum and avoid forcing the ball upwards. So the arm needs to be extended and lifted by means of the shoulder, always looking to release the ball around eye level. Ensure you don't use your wrist or elbow too much when you're tossing the ball up. The release of the ball is like the petals of a flower opening up, and the fingers are pointing out away from the ball. So the angle of the tossing arm should be at about 45 degrees. This allows me to turn my shoulders and hips so that when I go up to hit that ball, I can really rotate my shoulders and hips up and out to the ball. Simple exercise, toss the ball up and catch, and you can see here that my left arm is at a 45-degree angle and extending upwards towards the ball. So generally speaking, you want your ball toss going forward and away from the body. Okay, so if you could imagine that there's a clock in front of you when you're serving, you want that ball toss going between 12 and 1 o'clock. Now there are some variations in the ball toss where you're hitting with a little bit of spin, maybe kick or slice serve. Okay, but for now, just focus on getting that ball between 12 and 1 o'clock. So grab a bucket, place it down in front of you, and you want to try throw that ball up and land it as close to the bucket as possible, or in the bucket is the perfect ball toss. So a question I get a lot in lessons is, how high should the ball toss be? Ideally, your ball toss should be a couple of inches above your maximum reach. Now there are some exceptions to this. You get the likes of Nick Kyrgios, for example, who's got a much faster motion and he has a lower ball toss to compensate for that faster motion. But for the most part, getting that ball a couple of inches above your maximum reach will ensure that you had a good clean contact with the ball. So mark a wall with some chalk or tape a couple of inches above your maximum reach and practice tossing that ball up to that spot consistently. So for me here, this is my maximum reach right here, and you can see a couple of inches above that is this fascia board. So I want to try get that ball going up towards that spot there consistently. So let's give it a go. Okay, probably a little high in that one. It's better. And again, still working on everything what you've been working on earlier. Getting that height perfect. So in this exercise, you're going to work on your fluency and rhythm of your stroke. So all you need is a long sock and 3 tennis balls placed inside, and then you're going to work on your service motion. And the focus here is trying to make sure that you work in this looseness of the arm, and you're getting this continuous motion that feels effortless, like you're about to throw these balls as far as you can. Just ensure when you're doing this that you avoid hitting your back. Okay, so you're keeping that racket or the balls away from your backside, and again working that nice effortless fluent motion. So good exercise for just warming up your serve, using a football, getting balanced and sideways, working on your throwing motion. So ensuring that your ball is going up and out and working on your internal rotation of your shoulder. Imagine you're reading the watch here. Go ahead. Good, again, here we go. So sideways, maintaining the balance and throw. Another good exercise, just holding the hula hoop lightly in your hands. You're going to do your service motion, again, working on that throwing motion. Try find an old racket and in a space where it's free of people, and take the racket, get into your service position, holding the racket as light as possible, almost like a feather, and take that racket and throw up and out as high as possible while maintaining your balance. Okay. I recently saw this on a documentary called In Search of Greatness, where Serena and Venus Williams as kids used to use this exercise just to develop this looseness and this effortless feel. So if you can find some space, why don't you try it out? Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And until next time, stay safe, stay positive. We can do this. What do we say? Let's go!